the books as a discouragement, but we won't enforce it. That is the worst possible approach to law enforcement. I'm surprised that more police officers aren't concerned about this, because the worst thing you do to law enforcement people is to give them a mandate to enforce a law and then yell at them when they do. The law enforcement is damned if it does and damned if it doesn't go after people for smoking marijuana. So it's really, it seems to me, an overwhelming case in favor of removing the prohibition for adults. And then, of course, we have the argument, well, but if you remove the prohibition for adults, more kids will do it. Once again, the current system is totally ineffective in that way. Secondly, there are a whole range of activities in our society which we allow adults to do and not people under a certain age, and the age is always arbitrary, but there's some general cutoff. I mean, you cannot run a free society if you prohibit adults in general from doing things because a small number will prohibit it or children will use it. So I come back to the basics. It's an anomaly. I think, I'm not a social historian, I'm not sure why marijuana is illegal. Well, inhaling tobacco and drinking hard liquor is not illegal. As I said, whether you're measuring by health effects or potential negative effects on your behavior towards others, marijuana, it seems to me, the least damaging of those three by any category. It is the case that marijuana smoking has been associated with unpopular groups. It was there was a racial element at first. Marijuana was particularly among musicians. If you go back in American social history, there was probably more interracial social mingling in the music area. Then it became, of course, associated with political protesters in the 60s. I'm not sure exactly how this happened, but we are left now with a policy that doesn't make sense. And I'll just close this off and I'll throw it open. The public is aware of this. The public is aware that there are no good reasons, I believe, for this, that it is enormously hypocritical. Look, a large number of people in our society have smoked marijuana and have suffered no ill effects from it, and knowing that, are sympathetic to it not being illegal. So it's a case, and people say, what can we do about it? I think if my colleagues knew what people really thought about this, things would change. I am going to begin with, and I would urge people to do this, to let the Obama administration know that we think it's a great mistake for the U.S. attorneys to get back in the business of prosecuting sick people who are using marijuana, or of not prosecuting them, but prosecuting anybody who might grow it so it can be sold to them or sell it to them, etc., because you can effectively neuter the medical marijuana laws by doing this. I'm going to throw it open now, because I will confess to you, I always have this one problem, which is when I think something is so obvious, it's kind of hard to talk about it at length. There may not be any opponents here.